Hello, everybody on YouTube, NFL YouTube prognosticators, and NFL fans everywhere. This is Andrew Warren, back once again, giving you the rest of my top 10 greatest Super Bowls of all time. Still, Clayson's friends, I believe their names are, and Glenn, Get With It Sports 52 is still my shout out, but still check their videos out. They're really good prognosticators, and I'll leave you with that. But, a recap for the first five I did. Number 10, Super Bowl 47. Number 9, Super Bowl 42. Number 8, Super Bowl 36. Number 7, Super Bowl 13. Number 6, Super Bowl 23. And number 5, Super Bowl 38, Patriots and Panthers. Well, this is boldly remembered. Tom Brady again, winning their second Super Bowl title. This was pretty much the continuing what the Patriots were going to become. We were going for their 15th win in a row. The Patriots were heavily favored, I believe, by 11, I think, maybe 10. But they were on the merge to win their second Super Bowl title. And Carolina was the underdog in this one. This was boldly remembered. They started off really slow. The first 27 minutes was the longest scoring to start a Super Bowl ever. And, of course, we had the Super Bowl halftime show with Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson. We all know that story. I'm not going to get into it now. And, of course, scoreless third quarter. And all of a sudden, the fourth quarter, that's when things kicked in. That's the way a Super Bowl should go down to, by the way. It was a back-and-forth game in the fourth quarter. It was one touchdown after another in that one. But don't you remember, Tom Brady got picked off in that game, and Carolina, they got ahead of the game. They could have won the game. Although they missed 2-point conversions, too, by the way. And, of course, Tom Brady brings it back. Got a 2-point conversion. Went ahead by a touchdown. And all of a sudden, Carolina bounced back. And, of course, John Casey kicked the ball out of bounds, set the Patriots up at the 40-yard line, and Tom Brady marched them right down the field. Adam Vinatieri, who missed 2 field goals, one missed to the wide, I think it was wide left or wide right. I don't remember. Well, I know it was wide somewhere. I forget, left or right. And a block midway through the second. And when Adam Vinatieri was asked to need him the most, he got it. Right on the dot. And he did that, and the Patriots would go on to win the Super Bowl at that point, win our second Super Bowl title in 3 years. We were going on to win another Super Bowl a year later, and I'm not going to go to that point what the Patriots are. But anyways, that was a continuing on with a dynasty for the New England Patriots at that point. I still remember this game to this day. I was a freshman in high school. I can not ask for a better game than that. But anyways on that one, that was one of the most craziest finishes we ever seen. Probably one of the most wildest finishes I ever seen in the Super Bowl. So, but hey, I think some of it seem crazier, but we'll see what happens. But anyways, number 4, Super Bowl 49, Patriots versus Seahawks. I know I'm gonna go with this one. Malcolm Butler. Yep, Malcolm Butler became the GOAT. Well, not really the GOAT, but that's when he became known as the one. He became an NFL popularity kicked in, I would say. But anyways, he became a Pro Bowler this year. Congrats to him. I understand not going to the Pro Bowl, which I heard my New England Patriots, none of their 7 Pro Bowlers aren't going to go, which I get that. It means nothing. But anyways, long story short, they did not give the ball to Marshawn Lynch. It came down to this one play. And Pete Carroll's going to get criticized that for the rest of his life. Why do you not give the ball to Marshawn Lynch? Even me as a New England Patriots fan thinking they're going to give it to Marshawn Lynch, the game was over. How they set that up, though, was even stranger. Curse made a circus catch, just like similar situations like the David Tyree catch and the Mario Manningham catch. And I thought the Curse's catch was going to be on that list too. And all I kept thinking was, oh, not again. It's happening to the Patriots again. And I was like, but anyway, Malcolm Butler saved the day. We became Super Bowl champions at that point. And that was one of the most shocking finishes we ever seen in the Super Bowl history at that point. And you could still, Pete Carroll's going, oh no, dropping his headset, oh no. I still thought, oh God, this is like too good to be true on that. All I could see Richard Sherman going, what? Oh, I can see it with his head too. I was like, all I can know his reactions in the end was like priceless. No offense, I think Richard Sherman's a great cornerback. Don't get me wrong, but just seeing their faces in the end was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? But I hate to tell you that, but hey, the way the ball bounces, that's the way I tell you. And the reason why weren't Super Bowl champions at that point, because they didn't give the ball to Marshawn Lynch. That's why Seattle were back-to-back Super Bowl champions at that point. And that one. End of story on that. End of story. But, and also known, the New England Patriots at that point, my New England Patriots at that point, they had the largest comeback in Super Bowl history at that point. Down by 10. And they came back and won it. Tied with, I believe it was tied after that. I believe it was Super Bowl, not 20, but Super Bowl 21 or 22. No, Super Bowl 22, I think, when the Redskins dominated the Browns. So they were up 10-0, and Doug Williams came in and scored like maybe 6 touchdown passes. And I think 5. I take that back. And he became Super Bowl MVP at that point. But anyways, back to Super Bowl 49. That was known as Malcolm Butler winning the Super Bowl and not giving it the ball to Marshawn Lynch. Period. Next, number 3. Super Bowl 3. The Jets versus Colts. Joe Namath's guarantee. Now, this was boldly remembered. Joe Namath guaranteeing on a victory on a Super Bowl against the NFL New York Jets. Don't forget, this is the AFL versus the NFL during that time period. If you would have looked at the Colts then, you would have probably compared them to Vince Lombardi's Packers at that point. That was the year that Vince Lombardi left down in '68. The Colts were probably the most dominant team at that point in the NFL. And how they got there was probably most shocking. Johnny Unitas was playing. He got hurt most of that season. It was a state of emergency in the state of Maryland. Earl Morrall came in and saved the season. And look what happened. But anyways, back to that. During most of that season, they dominated mostly everybody in that NFL league that year. Dominated. In the NFL championship game, they killed the Browns 27-0. The original Cleveland Browns, by the way. And it could have been worse. And then I don't think they looked at the Colts, the Jets, said they could beat us. But Joe Namath said they could beat them, and he did. And when everything went wrong to the Colts that game, did go wrong. And of course, after that game, when they consider one of the greatest upsets in Super Bowl history, which it is, and the Colts were highly favored, with the highest favorite in Super Bowl history. And of course, most people in the NFL were embarrassed, and people in the AFL said, "Oh my God, we're actually a good league. We're actually a good league." But anyways, make a long story short, the NFL, this was the start of it's back in 68 and 66. That was the start of the merger, but they didn't come to one confirmedly when 1970 came, when they came to AFC and NFC. But, it was kind of hard for the AFL not to have their own league again, but it had to do what's best in the NFL at that point. But that became when the start of the merger in the 70s, when the AFC and NFC kicked in at that point after the game. So it was one of the most things at the aftermath of that game, mostly. But anyways, that will conclude number 3. But number 2, Super Bowl 32, the Broncos versus Packers. I think consider that number 2, just the way the Broncos played at that point, with John Elway playing like it was could have been his last game if he wanted to, but he went for another Super Bowl victory, which he got that, but that's another Super Bowl, which is definitely not in the top 10. I don't know. But anyways, Super Bowl 33 is not really in that, but Super Bowl 32 is because of 2 reasons. John Elway giving his all to win the Super Bowl he wanted. The one win he needed the most, and he got that Super Bowl. And of course, Terrell Davis playing with a migraine in that game. And he was so exhausted in that game, he couldn't believe it. That was one of the most gutsiest performances in Super Bowl history. Probably. I don't know, but hey. But at any rate, though, despite all that, but John Elway, this game-winning touchdown with the helicopter spinning, that sealed it for the for the Broncos. Denver would hold, and Denver would go on to win their first Super Bowl championship. And this one was for John Elway. Definitely was. He was with the organization for a long time. Finally got the monkey off his back for winning a Super Bowl. He got him a Super Bowl championship. He had the running back. He had the tight end. He had the wide receiver. He had all the offense he needed in that one. That was the difference in the other Super Bowl team compared in the 80s. He never had the offense he needed. It was just him. And, of course, the NFC was the dominance in the 80s and the early 90s. And the Denver Broncos was the first AFC team to win the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 32 since Super Bowl 18, when the Oakland Raiders dominated the Redskins at that one. But anyway, this is boldly remembered when John Elway wanted to set right off to the sunset. That was the game. But, hey, he decided to go on from that, and he did. He ended up winning another Super Bowl. But, anyways, that will conclude number 2. But before I get to my number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Quickly, Super Bowl 44. That's boldly remembered for the onside kick. I'm going to leave it as that. The Saints will go on to dominate that Super Bowl. Super Bowl 34, known as the tackle. Sorry about my clock, guys. Don't worry about that. So, it's not my clock anyway, so don't even worry about it. But anyways, Super Bowl 34, known as the tackle, and 1 yard short. That's boldly remembered for that. Came down to inches in that game, and that was it. I'm going to leave it as that in Cardinals and Steelers. NFL Network put this at number 1, and NFL Network's top 10, so, but I don't know, I disagreed with that. If I did I just closed the honorable mentions, because that ending was a great ending, but it didn't impress me enough. When Roethlisberger to Holmes, it was a great one, but not tippy-toed. But anyways, number 1, Giants and Bills. Steve Norway, I believe that was his last name. No, Scott Norwood, excuse me. That came down to wide right. That's what came down. If it needed to go, when a game it needed the most, Super Bowl 25 was it. Because you way to win the Super Bowl, like I talked about Super Bowl 36 and Super Bowl 38, like came down to game-winning field goal. That's the way you should win a Super Bowl. Always. But on a game-winning touchdown or a field goal. Game-winning field goal. That's the way a Super Bowl should run. And that's what happened in this case, in this one. They had everything. And they had the K-gun on the Bills offense with Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed, and then Marv Levy as their head coach. Hey, perfect fit for that point. And of course, you had Bill Parcells, backup quarterback Jeff Hostetler, Phil Simms with a broken foot. But at that game, though, Phil Simms left at halftime because he felt like he wasn't part of the team. But, and they all thought, and this was Bill Parcells' last game as a Giant head coach. And of course, they were lucky to win that game. That game was luck for the Giants at that one. But I consider one of the best games of all time because consider how that game was played. It came down to the end. Game-winning field goal like the other two. It came down to where he needed it. And Scott Norwood never did it. So, and of course, he became known as one of the most, I can't think of the word right now, but like Gary Anderson. I'll put it that. Gary Anderson, Billy Cundiff, and Scott Norwood. And I don't know if I put Stephen Gronkowski on there yet, but hey, we'll see what happens. Anyway, Scott Norwood would be up there because of how the game ended. But it was a good Super Bowl, though. It had everything it needed. It had the offense it needed. It was a low-scoring game. It came down to 1 point. And that will do it. It came down wide right. And that's why that's number 1. Because it came down to the bitter end. And that was a heartbreaking ending, though. But it's still one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time because the way it ended. Not because it was a heartbreaking. It came down where it was a clutch performance. And that needed to be clutch. Super Bowls need to be won by a clutch. Clutch touchdown or clutch field goal. And that's what it came down to. And Scott Norwood didn't work out to him that way. Well, that'll conclude the top 10 Super Bowls of all time. Stay tuned for my top 10 Denver Broncos of all time because I lost a bet to Sniper. Still check his videos out. He's a good prognosticator. And don't forget to check out my top Super Bowl pick for Super Bowl 50. So stay tuned for that. I'm Andrew Warren. So long.